Thank you. Hello everyone and welcome to Monday's edition of Live at the Waterhole. Welcome. Thank you all for joining us today. It's Monday the 20th of October. It's exactly 11 o'clock here in not so sunny South Africa. But it's beautiful weather here up at Aldonio with a humongous eland bull here drinking, the one closest to us. Someone asked yesterday, could I tell the difference between male and females by horns? You can see here nicely, the male at the front has got thicker, shorter horns, and the female through the back there has indeed got longer, thinner horns. So my assumptions yesterday appear to be correct, but I digress. My name is Kelly. I'm going to be with you for the next couple of hours. We will be bouncing around all of our cameras. I discovered yesterday we've got somewhere around 45 different cameras that we can stream from now, which is absolutely fantastic. And remember, we are live and completely interactive, and we would love to hear from anyone and everyone out there that is joining us today. You are welcome to get in touch either via WhatsApp at Wild Earth, on X, Facebook Wild Earth Live, Instagram Wild Earth Official, or on our YouTube channel, which is at Wild Earth. You are all very, very welcome. I love hearing from everyone that is joining us. Please do get in touch if you haven't done before. I really enjoy the opportunities to think and to ponder and hypothesize and learn with everyone out there. I have got a bit of homework from yesterday about zebra stripes, and we always say each one is completely individual. I've done some digging and it probably is. I did find quite a detailed study with various formulas and quotes and some algebra in. Ooh, what made you jump, guys? And I couldn't find any empirical evidence that every single zebra in the world is completely unique, but there was some evidence around the fact that some scientists have been using the zebra equivalent of facial recognition, so stripage recognition. So they are normally pretty unique, but whether or not there are no flukes where two are the same anywhere in the world, I have not been able to confirm. Erica, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us. This does indeed look awesome. I don't know what has upset these animals briefly, but as we often mention, these prey species can be quite twitchy at the best of times, especially around water. And it does look like there's a little bit of a breeze blowing here, so maybe it was just a noise. They're coming back. It looked more like a "Ooh, what was that?" response than a "oh my goodness, there's a lion." But you never know. Rob, you are asking, are eland babies called lambs? No, I don't think they are. I think they'd be called calves. Because normally in our antelope species, and I've got this wrong so many times, it drives me mad. I've done it several times, very embarrassingly. Normally, whether or not they're ewes and rams or bulls and cows is decided by size. So the bigger things are cows and bulls. Cows and bulls have calves, if you think of our domestic cows. And then ewes and rams have lambs. So I think it's a size-based thing, and elands are the biggest antelope. They are eland bulls as opposed to eland rams, and eland cows as opposed to eland ewes, which would place their babies as being called calves. Wow, I didn't mess any of those up once. I have publicly called female impalas does on several occasions because my brain just skips when I'm asked that question normally for some unknown reason. The antelope where that splits, that's different to that, I believe, is Inyala, and the males are called bulls and the females are called ewes, just to keep us all on our toes. But it's size based. We have someone here asking, do quackers still exist? Now I'm wondering if this is a trick question, and whoever has asked this knows something that I don't. As far as I was aware, quackers were sadly extinct, but I'm wondering if that's a trick question now, and there has been some advancement of science and an embryo has been implanted somewhere into something, but as far as I was aware, unfortunately no. They were one of the, or they are an extinct, one of the subspecies of the zebra group. Oh, there's some hustling and bustling going on back there. Look at that poor eland at the back. Oh, there's a couple of these zebra that look quite heavily pregnant. I'm looking at that one that's just lifted her head up, right slap bang in the middle there. Just before we started today, I was having I need to spend more time in insects. I was having a flick through this fabulous insect book I've got, and I would highly recommend it. I don't know if I'm allowed, but it's the Eric Holm Insectopedia. Really, really nicely written with lots of easily digestible, fun facts in it. Absolutely brilliant. And I was on a page about sound and insect sound and communication. Ooh, that's a lot of zebra in that water. Insects with wind instruments. The death's head moth is the only insect that uses a proboscis like a wind instrument. And it got me thinking about sound. I know we had a discussion yesterday about a zebra's call being, rather than a roar or a trumpet, it's a queek queek, queek queek. So I think I would like to ask everyone today, what is your favourite sound? What is your favourite nature sound? And again, it doesn't even have to be African. We are all flung across all the corners of the world. So let us know either via WhatsApp on +27 786 302 336, or on X, Facebook, Instagram, or on the YouTube channel. What is your favourite sound in nature? And it can be African, but it does not need to be. We are all in different places in the world, but it doesn't matter where you are, nature always has a sound.
My name is Amy, and behind the camera with me is Paul. And I mean, to be able to share it with all of you. Fingers crossed, and I'll make sure I wear my lucky leopard socks as well.
At Wild Earth, we believe every story has the power to create change. That's why we've launched the Wild Earth Impact Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to conservation and social impact. By showcasing conservation stories, we can change lives, protect nature, and empower communities. We have partnered with Empowers Africa to accept tax-deductible donations from US donors. Your donation will help fund critical programs that support our mission. Join us and be part of the change.
Some ellies that we're approaching now.
The light on her as well is absolutely gorgeous.
So we are going to enjoy the rest of this sunset.
Wow, this is absolutely crazy.
And thank you for joining us. For myself and Cam, we will see you next time.
We are here with a male leopard.
Not one single one of these flamingos is looking at us. So if they do look at us and have a maroon bill, then they will be lesser flamingos. And if they have a pale pinkish bill with a dark tip, they're going to be greater flamingos. But nope, we just have behinds. But that's all right, still very cool to see these flamingos. Huh. Okay, Rose, your favourite sound is the fish eagle. I believe this is going to be a very popular call. It is very symbolic to Africa. It's mentioned in much poetry. So an excellent, strong choice there, Rose, of the fish eagle. Dr. Moss, your favourite sound is a peacock. I've also heard peacocks. It's my lasting memories of hearing a peacock. I was in a Airbnb somewhere, and there was a peacock there, and it was incredibly loud. That's my lasting visions of peacocks. But again, an amazing bird call there. Dr. Moss, good choice for a peacock. Petula. Hello, thank you for being here. You love to wake up with the birds singing with the sunrise. That dawn chorus is incredibly special to be a part of. There's nothing quite like waking up and sitting with the sunrise with a cup of coffee. I think up until probably 15 years ago, I had seen more sunrises because I'd been up very late. But it's definitely swapped over now. I have seen many a sunrise. And sometimes it's really nice to do it. Often around sunrise, I've been with guests or I've been going on drive, and you miss the magic a little bit because you have to, your guests come first, they take priority. But it's very, very special just to do it just on your own. And I have done it many times, just to wake up, just sit very, very quietly, cup of coffee, maybe a rusk if you're feeling a bit cheeky, and just listen to the world waking up. It's so nice that we're seeing so many different cameras here. At some point I will try and establish if these are lesser or greater flamingos, but right now I think let's head across to Rosie's pan and see who we have got there today. We've got a very cool looking hippo. Not too far from here in Balule, and you can see how overcast it is today. But the temperatures are going to race up through the course of the week. It's about 18 today, 22 tomorrow, 26 the next day. You're going to come out, boy. That's how cool it is. So when you hear people say, hippos only come, don't worry, hippos only come out at night. Thomas, you are asking, is this Rosie and is this her pan? I think, oh, look, there's an elephant coming. I wonder if we're going to have a little face-off here. Thomas, I'm going to guess this is probably a male hippo. I'm assuming mostly on behaviour. We often find male hippos claiming bodies of water, and that's their spot. And no further discussions are ongoing. But I could be wrong. I actually find it quite difficult to sex hippos unless there's sort of a big bull next to a female for size comparison. But I'm going to guess this is a male. But I guess a male could be called Rosie if you wanted to. Tyson, I hope I've said that correctly. Your favourite sound is spotted hyenas. Again, very synonymous with the bush. Evokes many a memory of sitting around a campfire and listening to those whoops in the background, in the far distance, especially at night. Where are you off to, hippo? Shame, there's not much grass there for him. So yeah, there we go. There's our hippo that only comes out the water at night. You know, spotted hyenas are very symbolic of Africa. Many people have many memories. And yeah, like I was saying, often the sounds, the smells, prompt and solidify very strong memories of moments, and that call of those hyenas, that can actually be quite spooky. And if there's a bit of a interaction going on, if there's hyenas bump into either a neighbouring clan, it's loud. They get very, very vocal, and spotted hyenas have got many different vocalizations. People just call them the laughing hyenas, and that's not actually the most common sound they make. That's often if there's big groups coming together. Everyone knows the whoops that they make, and I don't know if you've ever seen a hyena when they make that whoop sound. You would think that they would sort of like chin up, head up, howl, but they actually look down at the floor and howl at the floor, and it sort of bounces back up off the floor. Our hippo has gone out for the day, but that's very, very cool to see. We actually got that departure. Okay, right, now we're going to get me testing. I think this is a new camera called Oxbow, and I think these are red lechwe. I know very little about red lechwe. So I'm gonna get my behaviour Bible, if I'm honest. This is so amazing. Don't know. So I do know lechwe are. I'm not sure what this Oxbow is. I'm gonna guess, is it in Botswana? Let's find some lechwe. If these are red lechwe, they do have quite splayed hooves. I think they're often found in fairly aquatic environments.
This is an unbelievable afternoon.
What does it take to handle the wild? Balance. Determination. Focus.
Yaku!
And gear that can take a beating so you don't have to.
I get to wake up every morning and go out there and look for cats. I get to create my everyday safari for myself. Myself, I grew up in the sort of central eastern suburbs of Johannesburg, fully qualified trails guide and a fully qualified nature conservationist. I love the wild places. I love being in the wilderness. It's probably one of the best jobs I've ever had and probably ever could have.
Oh, she's gonna catch it.
Come on, Tommy!
Watch this, we're about to see a kill.
You can see how close he is from where I am. Out here, every moment counts. As a Wild Earth explorer, you won't miss a thing. Watch the Wild Earth channel ad-free, 24/7, and rewind if you want to catch something again. Enjoy behind-the-scenes videos, fireside chats, and early access to travel offers. It's the best way to stay connected and be part of the Wild Earth family.
Is that lechwe sort of sound asleep there in front? Huh. What an amazing opportunity to get to view brand new antelope. So I think these lechwe, I believe they're fairly endangered. I know some people that have been to areas looking for them, and they've been very excited to see them. So we're very, very lucky to be able to watch this interaction with these two males here. So yeah, this is indeed oxbow hide in Botswana. I'm sorry we don't have a live location up there on the left for you. But we are having so many new cameras come online. I think it's incredible that we're keeping up with them. All these new locations and new opportunities to watch flamingos and lechwe. And this looks like a female coming in. It's either a young male or a female. I think it's probably a female. Oh, interesting. Yes, this is one of only 3 antelope that form leks. We were talking about leks yesterday in the birding kingdom. So there'll be crowded areas with the males, where the males, they will, exactly as I was saying yesterday, they'll basically perform. and try and do their best work to impress the females. And I wonder if this might not be what's happening here. I don't even know the breeding season. If there is a breeding season for lechwe, or if they are year-round breeders. But it's interesting that there's two males here, and there's two fighting and two completely uninterested. Okay. So this camera is officially called Cylinder in the basin. So apologies for that. That's my mistake. But I think we're going to have an absolute fabulous time here at all these brand new cameras. So there are, I believe, different subspecies of, I don't know if it to be classified as subspecies. Okay, there's Benguela lechwe. Wow. Okay, I tell you what, we have an exciting new camera called Cylinder. These are lechwe, and I'm going to do some homework on lechwe and this area because I'm flailing around, and I'm going to stop. I'm just going to learn more about lechwe. But this is why I enjoy this show so much. I've never watched this behaviour before. I did not know that lechwe form leks. I know very little about subspecies and geographical speciation of lechwe. So we can all learn together, I guess.
just unfolds in front of you.
The Wild Earth Impact Foundation is a non-profit that uses the power of wildlife storytelling as a force for good. We create sustainable development projects that showcase conservation stories, empower people, and inspire environmental action. As a registered South African PBO, you can make a tax-deductible donation to the Wild Earth Impact Foundation. To find out more, visit our website. Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature, live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure.
Definitely clearer skies up or across at Founders. It's lovely watching these rhinos share so nicely here, and we have seen several times I know there's a couple of females we sometimes see here, both with calves, and there's a couple of sub-adults that also sometimes come in and share the water and the wallowing rights so beautifully. I'm loving everyone's suggestions and emotional responses to sound here today. If anyone has never heard a baby rhino request for a drink of milk, I'd strongly suggest trying to find it because it is adorable. Not the sort of sound you would expect to hear coming from a rhinoceros. Okie dokie, goodbye rhinos for now. Let's go over to Nkuma. We have got so many different cameras to have a look at now. It's a plethora of wildlife experiences, and I'm definitely enjoying these marabous at the moment. I don't know if I'm imagining it, but these male impala look like they've got really big horns. Look at that one on the left. That one's horns almost look too big for his head. Am I imagining it? Look how splayed that individual on the left. So there's two that are fighting, but that one that's on the left he's got very, very wide horns. Believe it or not, I'm going to have to look at another picture of an impala now to see if these Nguma impala's horns are bigger than normal, or whether or not I'm completely losing it, which is also possible. It's oh no, maybe not. I think that individual on the left though, they're very widely splayed. do enjoy watching these interactions with these males. They're often quite respectful, and both their heads will go left and both their heads will go right, and they often break quite regularly. And just glance over their shoulder to make sure everything's fine. See, look, they go left and then they go right. It's like a dance. There we go, just having a check for danger. Yep. No lions. And then off they will go again. This yawning also. These impalas haven't suddenly got very tired. Yawning is often a communication, sign of communication. So many nuances in different species. Ooh, it's getting a little bit more intense. Often lots of lip licking, yawning. I'm just wondering if those lechoes would have been showing similar body language. I honestly don't know. Thomas, that is an excellent analogy. I would be... See, look how wide... Yeah, look how wide this boy's horns are. Thomas, that's a brilliant analogy. Marabou storks remind you of bald men in trench coats. I agree. I'm seeing lots of personality. That sounds ridiculous. I'm seeing lots of personality shining through from marabou storks lately. I'm not sure why. Like I've said before, I think it probably came from the vulture feeding site, with that sort of slightly awkward trying to get in to snatch a little bit of food something, which I found quite endearing. Bald men in trench coats. So yeah, they haven't got the prettiest faces. I suppose beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But yeah, I'm getting quite a lot of character shining through with these guys at the moment. So I've just cross-referenced my understanding of yawning behaviour. My understanding of yawning behaviour in dogs. It can often be a sign of tension, or potentially a calming signal. And I wanted to see if it was the same for impala. And my behaviour Bible says that yawning and moving jaw side to side seems to indicate tension, but actual significance is unknown. I guess it's all very much. Will we ever know? We can only attempt to interpret what we see in front of us, I guess. How are we ever really going to know what that impala's feeling while he's doing that? So these marabous, not necessarily beautiful faces, but nature often designs things to work well for the situation, and we know marabou storks often found around carcasses or carrion or rubbish, and no one wants to be same with vultures. Not a great idea, because feathers are very delicate structures. They need to be kept clean, they need to be maintained, and no one really wants to get blood all over their heads and feathers. It would be difficult to clean. So often, while some of these birds have baldy sort of heads. Helena, you are asking, what is the red patch on the back of a marabou stork? Excellent question, Helena, and very good observations. It's a kind of air sac. it can be used for either, it's believed to be used for maybe temperature regulation or for display purposes. I have never seen what that would look like inflated, so I don't know how big an area. I've got visions of it blowing up like a balloon, but I don't think it would go that big. You can, I can't even see it on any of these individuals. It's not super visible. I have noticed it a few times recently. And yeah, it's believed, because there's no feathers on it, it's believed for temperature regulation or display, as is often the case with birds. If they have something bright or colourful, it will be displayed, normally for courtship. Is normally the reason for bright and colourful things on most birds. Look at this little lapwing getting in there. I do love reading some of the descriptions I see. I've never heard marabou storks make a sound. They do make a sound though, but this is a beautiful definition and exactly what I would expect these gorgeous storks to make. They are mostly silent. Gives a low, hoarse croak when alarmed. I can imagine a sort of like sort of sound, and a loud nasal moi when adults are threatened by a human intruder. Hollow nasals. There we go. There's a red air sac just there for us. Brilliant. Thanks very much for going across there. And a hoarse, stuttering nasal bray. Wow, they sound very tuneful. It looks like they sing. It sounds like they sing as nicely as they model. But there's several of them with these red patches, these red air sacs on display here. So well spotted for going across here with these cameras. Thank you very much. See these storks very much busying themselves with grooming. It takes a lot of time, and these are big birds. These birds are sort of 1.5 meters tall, up to 6 or 7 kilograms. It takes a lot of work to keep all of these feathers in fine tip-top condition. Lovely, well spotted, Helena. Let's go across to Safari Hook and see who we have got there today. We have got a lovely spread. Looks like some springbok in the background there.
My name is Amy, and today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently.
The bush, full of beauty, wonder, and absolute chaos. And now, all that madness has its own show. It's called a Wild Bush Week. The countdown of the most outrageous, heart-stopping, and sometimes downright ridiculous wildlife moments of the week. Lions throwing their weight around. Hyenas gate-crashing the buffet. Leopards doing, well, leopardy things. Each week, it's a fresh reel of safari gold, a mix of drama,
She's just got an impala, everybody.
danger, and a healthy dose of laughter. So, if you fancy a highlight show with bite, and I don't mean just the animals, tune in to a Wild Bush Week. You bring the tea, and we'll bring the tusks, tails, and teeth.
Living tree in the middle of water, almost always full of weaver birds' nests. So these oryx at the back here, these are Gemsbok. So these are the oryx gazella. As we've learnt with all these different cameras, and I'm now waiting to find out how many more different types of antelope are going to be popping up with all these massive variations of cameras. If we do end up going too much further, I think there's going to be a lot of us doing a lot of research. If we suddenly go to if we get a camera up in Central Africa, then we are all going to be swatting away like crazy, I think. Rachel, you are asking, do the elephants eat aquatic plants? Sometimes, yes. It depends on the plant, it depends on the season, as usual. But I have seen elephants eating water plants before. And also some of the grasses that you find in water, some of the... Would an elephant eat sedges? I don't see why an elephant wouldn't eat sedges. So some of those aquatic plants, if there's any nutrients in them, then elephants will eat them. We see elephants eating what look like dry old dead sticks, but there is some nutrients in them. There's still nutrients in the cambium layer of those sticks and branches. So yes, especially at Tau, I've seen elephants eating aquatic plants many times there. Rob, you are asking, why do they have two names for this antelope? I'm not sure, Rob. To be honest, I think the Gemsbok is more a local common name, and oryx is part of the scientific naming of the antelope. So there's different types or different subspecies of oryx, but Gemsbok is the more colloquial common name is what I believe. But yeah, I can never say this word. Nomenclature. No, that's not right. The naming of things can be complex and confusing. Let's just have a look at our bird names. Now these two boys are having a little bit of an interaction here. Wildlife lady, you are asking, is that grass or moss growing around that dead tree in the water? I feel like it's grass. But if we could get a little bit further in, we might be able to have a look. I feel like it's grass though. I don't feel like this environment, despite the fact that there is actually lots of water underneath it, I don't think the atmospheric water content would be high enough for moss. I don't think there would be enough shade for moss to be happy there, but let's have a look. Da-da-da. Wildlife lady, just for you. Yes, looks like grass to me. Or maybe there's a little bit of sedge, grass. But yeah, that looks like those animals must be desperate to get to that grass in the middle there. So there you go, wildlife lady. There's your answer. Thank you very much, Zoomies. Speaking of towel, let's head. I'm just seeing what these two bulls are going to do. This looks like a fairly sedate interaction to me. Let's head across to Tao, see what's happening across there. I like to catch up with my beloved Tao Game Lodge. I have many fond memories there at Tao. We have a spoonbill, excellent. I do enjoy spoonbills. There's a brown thing there. I'm not sure what that is. Oh wait, I've just seen it. That was a bit excitable, sorry. That's a bittern or something. Is this the famous Tao bird that we all flail around struggling to identify and then normally decide it's a juvenile striated heron, I think is the conclusion that most of us have come to. I think it is. Let me just double check. Yeah, I think it's a juvenile striated heron. But I think quite a few of us have spent quite a lot of time mulling over that small heron that lives at Tao. And we've got our little goslings. How many do we have? 1, 2, 3. I can see 6. 6 so far. And is that mud or a crocodile? I think that's just a muddy bump. But these, 1, 2, 3, 4, still 6, 7. 7? These little ones are growing. 7, 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, I think that is just a muddy bump. Otherwise, that gosling's standing on a crocodile if it's not. You see, even these little ones spending lots of time. Check that one in the water, having a little shower. Very, very important that birds keep their feathers in tip-top condition. It's nice seeing these little ones having a little wash. Oh, there's another one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7 babies. I'm not sure how many we started off with here. A fabulous looking spoonbill though. I do enjoy spoonbills. They just make me shake my head at designs. And yes, I'm sure we have. Several of us have struggled with this bird, this specific individual bird. Torn between bitterns but I'm sure it's... Yeah, the only option that it would be a dwarf bittern. but that face isn't yellow enough, and the chest isn't streaked enough, in my opinion. So juveniles slightly less so, but the back of juvenile dwarf bitterns is more flecked. So yeah, juvenile striated heron, and I'm sticking with it. I couldn't even quite see what it was there when we first looked. I just saw there was something, and that's a really nice demonstration of how I personally normally see things. I don't necessarily see an elephant or a bird or something. It's just something that looks different to the rest of the things. And then you work backwards from there. Often with animals, it's an outline, it's a shape, it's a rounded area of something. Unless there's movement, then you do pick up on movement. But the best way for me is to look for something that doesn't look like it should be there. We've got our crocs here as well. And there's a common moorhen. But look at this. This looks like it still does surprise me. I'm sure there's a reason. We've seen waterbuck in here, but it kind of surprises me that we don't see more animals feeding on this stunning looking grass. But maybe it's not stunning looking. I've got no idea what type of foliage this actually is. Often with identifying grasses and plants, you have to get really... It can sometimes come down to... there we are. Speak of the devil. There's some waterbuck in there doing exactly what I would be surprised they weren't doing. But that looks delicious to me. I think it was yesterday someone was asking about is there different types of waterbuck, and I said, this is a little bubby. These are the Ellipson waterbuck. This young one is still closing up that white ring around their bum. And then the divisive waterbuck in other areas, they've almost got sort of paler pantaloons rather than a ring. Heather, you are asking, is this the only bird with a spoon-shaped bill? Is there a bird called a shoveler? I think a shoveler is a type of duck, though. But maybe they have a slightly flattened bill. A lot of the filter feeders have sort of slightly flatter beaks or bills. I just never know what to call them. Let's leave this very cute, fluffy little waterbuck having a blast at lunchtime by the looks of it. This looks absolutely delicious. And let's have a look at Serengeti, see what's happening over there. But I'm just rifling through. Heather, I'm sure there's other birds with similarly shaped bills. There are so many bird species in the world. I'm just trying to think. My brain is telling me there's like 10,000 different species of bird, and I'm sure someone somewhere must have a similar shaped bill or beak. I could cheat, but I'm not going to. Anything you hear me say on this show is not cheated, but I'm definitely going to be going away. See, that's quite interesting. Look how far forward those elephants are reaching to drink water. I know that one at the back is sort of stepping in more. I'm going to guess that's related to they've got their feet in one bit, which is churning mud, and they want to reach forward away from where they're and where their feet have been disturbing the dirt. I've never really noticed that before. Looks like it's time to be finishing up for these elephants. Hey, there's lots of little ones here. And it interests me as well how or why sometimes elephants will decide to get in and splash around and then sometimes not. I'm sure there must be, what are the defining factors around that? If they're hot, I can't imagine why an instinctive reaction wouldn't be to cool down, but they don't. Even sometimes on very, very hot days, they walk to the edge and they drink and they splash a little bit and then they move on. And then sometimes they get in and swim. Not swim, but really get down and have a good full wallow. Nice little family come for a lunchtime drink. It looks like there's some nice cloud cover in lots of places today. Let's head across to Lantoro. I want to see if we've got our baboons there today. I very much enjoy the baboons at Lantoro. Yay! I honestly didn't know they were going to be there. I enjoy these guys a lot.
My name is Amy, and today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently.
And that's it for this morning's drive.
She's just got her Impala, everybody.
And we're going to be heading out and seeing what animals we can find.
Safari, wine, and waterfalls. The ultimate African adventure. Sip South Africa's finest wines. Experience a world-class safari among Africa's iconic wildlife. And stand in front of Victoria Falls, one of the natural wonders of the world. All this can be yours with Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
This couple might be here having a quick drink together. That to me does look like it may be a courting couple, for want of a better phrase. I do enjoy watching these baboons here at Lentoro. Okie dokie, our lunchtime drink with the baboons has completed, and let's go across to Tembe. I haven't been to Tembe for a little while. I would love to see what's happening there. I'm very much looking forward to the individual splash pools returning at Tembe. That makes me very happy. Those dips that you see there when after the rains, they all fill up with water, and the elephants sort of all claim their own individual pan and have an absolute blast with their own space without having to share the mud bath with their buddies. I find that very entertaining. And there never seems to be an argument over whose pan is whose. They just pick one and get on with it, splashings. Oh, it's nice and calm at Tembe today as well. It does seem there's quite a lot of breeze going on today. It's been quite windy here the last couple of days, but yeah, I can't believe how quickly the weather changes here. And I know, I think it was Canine Girl yesterday was saying she's coming to South Africa soon. Anyone that is planning on a trip here from Europe or the States, I cannot explain why, but it feels colder here than you would expect. 18 degrees here. I've been back in my winter slippers. If you do want to come and explore, please do get in touch with Wild Earth Travel, have a look and plan your trip. But before you do plan your trip, just remember that for some reason temperatures here feel cooler, certainly than in the UK. I know 18 degrees in the UK is shorts and barbecue weather. I'm back in winter slippers here, and it's nothing to do with carpets or central heating or marble floors or anything like that. It's if you stand outside in 18 degrees here, it feels cooler than if you stand outside in 18 degrees in England, and I've never been able to explain why. So Canine Girl, when you do come, make sure you bring more warmer things than you need, because one day it might be 44 and then the next day it might drop to 20, which will be absolutely freezing, and then it will go back up to 35 again. So prepare for all weathers. Hello boy, you're looking a little bit agitated. What's going on? He looks like he's doing something for a reason. Something maybe giving him a fright. He looks somewhat perturbed. I can't quite see from here. Maybe is he a must? Look how that tail's flicking though. That feels unusual to me. This body language looks a bit... Did you see his tail just did a complete circle? quite stiff. I can't tell from here if he's in must or not, but must to me is more of a swagger than a but he almost looks like he'd been bitten by something. I don't know how many things would bite an elephant, but it almost looked like he was sort of, oh, get off, that's annoying to me. But he was definitely moving quickly. See how much distance he covered in a very short space of time. But that tail was flicking, his head was sort of turning around towards his side. Don't know. I don't know if anyone can even hear this on my microphone, but it's blowing a gale outside. Nice peaceful afternoon with these impalas. Let's go across to Oliphants and see what we have got happening there. If anyone can hear pinging, I do apologise. It's me. My connections are struggling a little bit in this wind. Really looking forward to the rains coming here. But so lovely, we've got so many beautiful rivers running through this area. It looks like these elephants are feeding along the bank there, but we must watch this camera. I've actually been to this camp, but we must watch this camera over the next couple of months and watch for this river level to rise significantly. Yeah, look at these guys all having a chomper along that remaining river vegetation there. Pickings are lean. Look at this little one having a sniff of that dung there. Yeah, I think we had, where I am, I think we had about 15 mils in our storm the other day. But 10 or 15 kilometres up the road, I think there was 30 mils of rain. It's coming. And these elephants are going to be absolutely delighted. Don't forget, keep ascending in your favourite sounds of nature. Maybe someone might enjoy the sound of a good thunderstorm. the crash of thunder and the crackle of lightning. Let me know on WhatsApp or at Wild Earth X on Facebook, on Instagram, or if you are chatting along on the YouTube channel. I'm just trying to think, what is my favourite sound of nature? I'm thinking. There's so many. It's very cliche, but there is something very special about hearing a lion roar, especially close. But I think it's more what still stuns me is how close we can get to such a, or what a privilege it is to get so close to such a powerful wild animal. I think that does it with me for lions roaring. Oh, I tell you what I do quite like, as long as I don't have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and go on drive in it, is the sound of rain on canvas. If you're in a functional dry tent and you're warm and you've got a full belly, that's always a little bit, there's something romantic, there's something exciting about it. The sound of rain on canvas, that makes me feel very connected with nature. But yeah, as long as you've got a sensible tent. I've also, on many occasions, heard the sound of rain on canvas and got very wet and cold and not got any sleep. That's not quite so much fun. Very out in the open crocodile there. Let's go back to Lentoro. I would love to keep watching those baboons. I've been able to observe them safely and ethically from a distance. Wow, that is really close up. That's so cool. They do spend quite a lot of time here, these baboons at Lentoro, but I love this camera. Look, we can even see that fly that's just landed there. There's such complex social dynamics go on in these groups. Up, I'm up. Take me, Mum.
Oh, wow.
Even a hyena coming into the action as well now. Oh my word! She's stalking the hyena now. Leopard, hyena, lion, all together in one shot. Oh. This is action-packed.
Best sighting I've presented. I found myself with wild dogs. We chased the dogs around, chased them around. They ate an impala. We got the end of that. Then another impala went into Gowrie Dam down the road there, and the wild dogs went around. Eventually the impala came close to the bank. One wild dog went and grabbed it and then just pulled it out and just did what wild dogs do. It was an emotional experience, but it was very, very special.
morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us.
Wow, that was amazing, everybody.
If you love watching Wild Earth, here's a little tip. Become a member. You can gain access to the channel ad-free, you can rewind and re-watch sightings, and you can join our Tuesday live safaris. There's also behind the scenes videos, fireside chats, and every Safari Live episode, whenever you want it. It's just a better way to stay connected to nature.
In my opinion, many animals in this group, if there is a higher ranking female, that could change, that could fluctuate. A higher ranking male could be overthrown or ousted, or its behaviour is, I think, a lot more nuanced and fluid than we've maybe realised in the past. And the more research that is going into animal behaviour, animal emotions, the more we are discovering. And it's also, it's almost raising more questions than it's answering, to be honest. Oh, that sounds fun. I'll get my bird book ready. Let's go and have a look at a couple of raptors that are currently there at the hive. I wonder if it's those. I saw two kites the other day. Yes, I think it is these same two kites. And actually, I checked on these because I wasn't too sure, and I think this is these same two individuals that we saw a while ago. These kites, we often see them from underneath when they're flying. I haven't spent much time looking at them on the ground like that, and they've actually got quite a distinctive body shape. They're quite elongated. They've got quite long bodies. These yellow-billed kites, if you put them next to, I don't know, maybe a Wahlberg's eagle or something, they've actually got quite distinctive body shapes. But because we normally see them flying, it's not always easy to see that. I'm going through a phase at the moment of checking all the kites in the area to see if they're not black kites. But black kites, annoyingly, have a slightly greyer head than these yellow-billed kites, but they were sifting through dung the other day when we saw them, and it did transpire that they will sometimes use dung as nesting material. I first thought that they were maybe picking through dung to look for food or things like that, but so yeah, I think these two kites are probably nesting. We are up in Zimbabwe, and it seems that many kites do indeed lay eggs September, October, all the way through to November up there in Zimbabwe. So I think that's exactly what's been going on here. These two are finding nesting material. Both sexes will gather material for the nest, and that nest will be used for more than 1 year. But yeah, I was the other raptor that I always find has quite a distinctive body shape is the African harrier hawk, or old name Emojis. Also quite a distinctive body shape. If you saw either one of those or these kites sort of silhouetted, you might be in with a chance of identifying it because they've got such a clear distinctive body shape. So that's lovely if these individuals are going to be hanging around and gathering material for their nest sites. Lovely stuff. Kevin, you are asking, do any raptors swim for prey? I know, then there's the debate around, well, swim, I wouldn't say swim. I'm just trying to think, will fish eagles actually go under the water to catch? Do they dive? I don't think I've ever seen a diving fish eagle, sort of a submerging fish eagle, but I'm thinking harder now. Would they say, I'm trying to in my head work out if raptors would do what kingfishers do. Again, another renowned fishing owl is the Pell's fishing owl. I'm trying to think, osprey, also very well known for aquatic feeding habits. I'm just trying to, I'm actually going to check and see, but in my head, I think they more grab, but don't quote me on that, but because they are almost entirely, let's go for osprey. If anything's going to swim as such for hunting, it would be an osprey. I feel like they only grab as opposed to swimming. No, this confirms they only go in feet first. So they'd probably get wet, but they wouldn't swim. So my certainly of birds here, Kevin, is I don't think any raptors swim for prey. But quite a few will fish. But see, this is another thing I really enjoy about this. I've always just assumed that these raptors would grab from the water and wouldn't actually dive. So it's really, really nice to check, because we all know the first 3 letters of assume. It really gets my brain working doing this, which I love. But this kite's having a good hard think here about something. So it's got its feet in mud. That doesn't look like dung to me, that looks like mud. Maybe it's also collecting some mud for nesting material? See how distinctive this body shape is? They're just sort of like standing there. I wonder if they would maybe use mud, dung. Are they flying up with mud in their feet? Let's try and watch. So these birds do have quite a diverse diet. They will eat insects, locusts, other birds, rodents. I think that's a lovely idea. Let's go and see a little rhino we have across at Founders Lodge who's having a little drink. I wonder if he did any cute rhino squeaking on the way to ask. And these kites are also known to feed on insects and things, so it wouldn't surprise me if they're maybe looking for mollusks or worms in the mud there. But this rhino has found some food, most definitely. Oh, this is very cute. But this is not a teeny tiny rhino. Rhino suckling cessation often depends on what else is happening in mum's life. But as they get older, you do often hear them asking for a drink, and mum will say no, no, and they get quite cross. It angers these baby rhinos significantly if their requests for
At Wild Earth, we believe every story has the power to create change. That's why we've launched the Wild Earth Impact Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to conservation and social impact. By showcasing conservation stories, we can change lives, protect nature, and empower communities. We have partnered with Empowers Africa to accept tax-deductible donations from US donors. Your donation will help fund critical programs that support our mission. Join us and be part of the change.
Every week, the wilderness delivers.
And that's why we're here.
Drama, chaos, crimes, humour. All moments you'll never forget. We've counted them down, argued about them, and finally picked the very best. From rare sightings to classic bush showdowns, this is nature's weekly highlight reel. Sharp facts, bad jokes, and the wildest top 5 you'll see this side of the savannah. It's not just a show, it's a wild bush week.
That's what that was that gave that little one a little bit of a jolt. Most of these animals, they will not continue feeding or laying down. If you see an animal laying down, it often means they're relaxed. I don't know what that is. That's not a rhino that's just walked away. I was walking too quickly. Oh, don't know what that was. I just saw tiny little tips of something just walk across along the brow of that hill, but I think maybe whatever that was is what gave that little one a little bit of a surprise and stopped them from feeding. Jinxifer, you are saying, Kelly, cormorants. I'm assuming you are talking about birds swimming for prey. I was thinking raptors. I don't think cormorants are raptors, but you've got me rifling through my brain to check now. They will definitely swim for prey, but out of the raptors, I can't think of any for now. Chrissy, Chrissy UK, you are saying your favourite sounds are tawnies and foxes at night and blackbirds early in the morning. Those tawny owls, that is... Has she got her mouth open, or is she just... Yeah. She was... It almost looks like she was scenting something then. Blackbirds, it's the sound of blackbirds calling is very synonymous with the UK for me. And those early summer mornings, yes, you do hear them. Taxi Lady Outer Hebrides, do we get horseflies in South Africa? Yes, we do. We do absolutely get horseflies in South Africa. And Heather, you have never heard a rhino. It's on your bucket list. Rhinos are actually very vocal. They make a selection of sounds, from roars to grunts to snuffles. The little ones squeak. But the sound of, they sort of make huffy, puffy, roary sounds. If males are approaching females, the females will get quite vocal in an attempt to request more space. The sound of two male rhinos fighting can be quite surprising. But rhinos make a lot more sounds than one might think. Very, very vocal sometimes. Okay, our little one has finished lunch, lunchtime snacks. They're going to stay chilling here in the shade, but let's go across to Moella. See who we have got at Moella today. My money's on zebra, but sometimes we might see some elephants there as well. Let's see. Wow, okay, elephants and zebra. This is a lot of elephants here today, though. I'm almost going to be a little bit sad when these zebra depart, but they have been a constant theme here for quite a while. But as soon as there is more water availability, more food, I'm sure they will be very happy to go on their way and no longer have to share this relatively small water point with all of these elephants. This is possibly the most elephants I've seen here, actually, and it looks like this looks like a group of... Is this a group of males as well? I'm sure we will be watching and keeping a close eye here. To see when this rainy season starts. It's going to be, I think when it comes, it's going to pour. But remember, it's not always, if it's raining here, it doesn't necessarily mean this river will flow. It's more about catchment areas. If it's raining further upriver, up in mountains from where catchments are. I do really enjoy that time of year. We see clips from all over this areas where dry riverbeds will flow. It's actually quite awesome is the correct word, I think, when you see a river come down and it brings trees and bushes, and it's a time of cleansing and time of returning of plenty. But yeah, I've watched it in person maybe 2 or 3 times. You get news of a river coming down in your area and you can almost come and watch those riverbeds fill up. It's very cool. See, even these bulls are starting to get a little bit tetchy, getting a bit possessive of their precious resource. Thomas, you are asking, is this really a water hole? It's a hole and there's water in it. The great debate often rages about what is a dam, what is a pan, what is a water hole, what is an inlet. I would say this is currently a water hole. It's a hole and there's water in it, and there's animals around it. But I guess it's subjective, really. But yeah, that we often have the discussion. Oh, it's by the pan. It's like, what pan? Oh, the dam. No, it's by that water hole. Yeah, it can get quite confusing sometimes. And again, I think it. There's also geographical names for things, like a lake. I don't hear the word lake used often in my region. Maybe it's a size-based thing, but I couldn't give you the sizes and the dimensions of pans, dams, waterholes. See that some of those elephants are even drinking from that less delicious water on the left there. Gabby, you are saying poor zebras, they don't stand a chance. No, not really, Gabby. We have seen zebras doing a great job of sharing Aldonio with elephants, although it's much harder for them. They seem to manage to get a look in up there, but let's watch, Gabby. There's definitely some having a think. You see those zebras coming in there? There's an elephant coming in from the top left as well. Watch all these zebras scatter as this elephant comes through. But those zebras on the bottom right are looking quite thirsty. They're all coming now. The rest of the elephants are coming from the other side. Ooh, no, these poor zebra. Moses, you are asking, do lions attack and kill rhinos? Not really, Moses. They're a little bit too big. They're quite a formidable force, our rhinos. They've got very thick skin as well. It's not impossible. If there was maybe a young animal that had been separated from mum, lions would definitely, a young calf that wasn't, I don't know, maybe 3 years old or something. But when they start getting bigger than that, unless it's a very big pride of lions, there's huge risk involved. They would get squashed, they would get trampled. So while it's not impossible, and I have heard of a young rhino being killed by lions after it had been orphaned. Adult rhinos I have never heard of unless it was extremely sick or had maybe picked up an injury and was struggling. I think, Moses, that a rhino would probably normally, an adult healthy rhino would be a bit too much for lions. But as we always say, not impossible. I'm sure someone could send in a photo of lions trying to kill a rhino if we looked hard enough. But I've certainly never seen it, Moses. Not a healthy adult rhino. I don't rate these zebras' chances for now, and there's more and more elephants coming in here. So let's go across to King's Camp. We had a hyena there recently, which was very, very nice. But I think maybe we've got some more baboons for us to watch there today. That was lovely the other day where this hyena splooshed in this pan here. Technical term, hyena in water is a splooshed hyena. You see how cool and overcast it is today. King's Camp is also not too far from where I am. Maybe 90 minutes. And those baboons look like they just also got a little bit unnerved with something. But there will be many predators loitering around waterholes this time of year. Baboons have to drink, zebras have to drink, impalas have to drink, and very often there are a limited amount of opportunities. And when you're thirsty, you're thirsty. You've got to do what you've got to do. So if anyone is planning on visiting South Africa or any of the other African countries that are part of Wild Earth travel, this is an excellent time of year to come because, shame, the bush is thin and animals are gathering around the water, and is the case with many countries covered by Wild Earth travel. Look at the wind, you can see how windy it is. This is, if you've heard any clonking, it's a tree clonking on my roof. But yeah, animals are, it's nice for, not nice, it makes for productive viewing this time of year because the bush is dry, there's not long grass everywhere. Many animals gather around water, so sometimes this time of year, if you just pick a pan or a dam or a waterhole, Thomas, whatever you want to call it, the animals just come to you a lot of the time because the water is so scarce. But it can be a little bit sad sometimes because you know that animals are thirsty. Jake from KZN, you're saying you've seen baboons crossing a river. It was as if they didn't want to get their hands wet. They held their arms up as they ran. I think I've also seen a clip of something like that. It's almost, you could almost, I know exactly what you mean, but their hands sort of like dangle, and I've seen a similar clip. I've never seen it in real life. but you can almost hear them going, ew, 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 no, oh, I don't want to get wet. I have seen baboons swimming though. I've actually seen a clip when it was very, very hot in this area. Clip circulating. It's one of the nice things, you know, we've got all these cameras, but lots of people also have wildlife cameras, and you know, people, you know, in the last 5 years are capturing so many things. The thought of having a wildlife camera in your garden was almost unthought of. Let's go up to the Serengeti. I think we might be able to give you a waterbuck comparison. But I think it was last year we saw a clip of baboons using someone's swimming pool. And they were jumping in, swimming, jumping out, jumping in, swimming when it was very, very hot. So I guess if it's hot enough, everyone will get in there. So these are the Dufasa waterbuck. And if any of them turns around, these almost might look a little bit darker to me as well. But we're going to have to stay there till... Oh, you can see that one just on the left. You can see, I think I said earlier, it looks like they're wearing pale pantaloons rather than that clear ring. It almost looks like that. I look at and I love both species of waterbuck. They've got little heart-shaped noses. A very good friend pointed that out to me many years ago. Lovely looking bull here on the left, though. Having a nice long drink. There you go, you see those pantaloons, that white back end, and look at this waterbuck actually looks very, very chestnut. So I actually think their body colouring is slightly different as well. I feel like the Lipson waterbuck are maybe greyer, and these are a little bit more chestnut. Similarly long shaggy coats though, and I'm sure because both species are water dependent, often found around water, and they carry those sebaceous glands.
Oh, yes, there's a leopard. I've got a leopard here. My name is Cedric, and behind the camera with me we've got Muscles and Paul. Well, it is Feline Friday.
What does it take to handle the wild? Balance. Determination. Focus.
Yaku!
And gear that can take a beating so you don't have to.
My full name is Mpho Tikani. I grew up in Soweto. My first animal that I filmed said to dog. Okay, no, it's my first animal that I filmed, I think it was an impala. Best sighting ever, I would say it was actually this year, 2024. But it was this Cedric when we had Mulwati and TP on a warthog kill. I think we have to cut it.
This is brilliant.
Ria, you say the best kind of roadblock? Absolutely. Look at this.
Hello, girls.
How cool is this?
Look how that elephant just led forward and just shoved with all his weight there. And it's down to us if we do have interactions with any animals, either animals we experience in everyday lives or if we are out in the bush. It's down to us to interpret their mood and that behaviour. This to me looks like the elephant on the right is probably the bigger boy, and this a smaller elephant on the left is trying his luck a little bit. That's an unusual I don't know what to call it. It's an unusual method of interaction. But this to me does not look like a serious interaction. Otherwise that little one or smaller one would not have gone down on his all of his knees, because that would not be conducive to shame, boy, up you get. There we go, everybody's fine. But thank you all so much for joining us today, this afternoon. This boy is getting an unceremonious shove from behind. But thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for sharing your favourite sounds of nature. It's been an absolute pleasure. But enjoy the rest of your Monday. Have a great week. And hopefully I will talk to you all again soon. All the best. Bye-bye.